Citizens Police Academy class.
This is our third, 1, 2, 3.
We've done them we've done them in 3 other cities. We did the sheriff, and then tonight we're doing the one that's local. So
you know what made me nervous though?
When
they were talking, I got a little nervous when he made the comment. One of the sheriff that was the police was the main chief. That in our area, I won't mention, but in our area, there may be some differences on how they do trafficking or other things that you always learn general information. You go to a police academy for so many weeks, and when you come back, because it's a smaller community or whatever size your community is, there may be some other things that they teach you that deal specifically with that community. So
why was you nervous?
That makes me nervous because for me, I thought all police officer training, law enforcement was across the board the same.
It is. No, but he's saying that there's nuances.
That's what I'm saying. So I get it.
That wouldn't make me nervous. It was making
me nervous because I don't know if some of those changes could be good for the citizens of that community or not so good. That's what I'm saying. So as we continue to go on these classes, we'll hear more about what they do a little different than the next city over.
For me,
or the next town over.
For me,
when it comes to trafficking and stopping someone for drug-related issues or gang-related issues, shouldn't it be the same?
See, why don't I have a picture? But that's fine. Go ahead.
What do you mean?
I don't have our thumbnail. Yeah, we live. Okay, but that's fine. That means I need to put it in. It didn't take whatever you put in. But my thing is, you probably didn't. My thing is, it doesn't. And now we frozen.
Were you trying to do something that made us?
Okay, now we back out. Well, we frozen.
I may not have uploaded it.
Yeah, we frozen
so quick trying to get on tonight. The reason why I say that is because, and I'm not. It's nothing like, oh my God. It's just something.
You said nervous.
That maybe that's not the right word, but I'm a little concerned because we're hearing in the news some police officers, some law enforcers may have their cameras on, some don't.
No, that's not
that kind of stuff. Where I'm thinking across the
that's
board,
not what he was talking
every
about.
Single law enforcer should be basic rules.
Yeah,
everybody with a camera, everybody with a certain gun or taser, how they're using it. That's what I'm saying. Does that differ in certain? How much of the differences may
to me
happen?
I think it depends on where you're from, and what the citizens require. So for me, I'm the opposite of you. I that makes me happy because I don't want to. If I don't live in the city of Chicago, I don't want my police officers acting like they from the city of Chicago. In the city of Chicago, I think it should be different depending on where you are and what the different nuances wherever you are. So I think you're right when you said the wording. You probably don't mean it makes you nervous.
There are concerns because as we're just in the beginning of our class. So as we continue on hearing from this specific location, there may be things that they say that are different from the other 3 that we've gone to.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And then my question would be, so why do you do that different here? And they would have to give reason for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a smaller community, or maybe this community consists of a certain age or whatever. I would just want to hear the differences. That's all.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we ever come across that.
Right. But I like that there's differences because I don't want them all to be the same.
Okay.
So, what were some of the things like other than that you learned from today? From today's class that you didn't know.
One of the things
that you didn't know. Because we did take other classes. What did you learn today that we didn't know before? I did not
learn from the other
classes. That we were like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Anything stuck out?
Well, they actually admit it. That's what I'm saying. With the training, you do your basic 16 weeks or whatever training. I knew
the police academy.
Yeah, at a police academy like normal. I knew generally all the other places, they didn't go into much detail with how it's structured, which is this one did. But that threw me off when they said, when you come after the people do their training and they get in, then they're going specifically in field training, whatever, they still would have to know the nuances in that community.
Okay.
The other people didn't share that. We just assume in these other cities, but these guys were really specific, and I like that. They were real clear on, we want to make sure, even coming out of that academy and all that you've learned, you learned a lot. You're a sponge. Come here. We still got to show you some things in this community specifically. Yeah. Like you're saying, you okay with that.
Right.
Because it's
and he said that he was saying, like the chief was saying, he likes that because a lot of times these guys go to these police academies and then they come in with these
big S on their
with
chest.
these notions of how things are. So I don't know why our thing isn't working, but well, whatever. See how it's just everything's acting up. So oh well, let me see.
Did you do shift?
Yeah. Let me see if it's you can keep going.
But that was one of the things, and I'm trying to think other things that he said. I did enjoy the female officer that they had there. A lot of times we don't realize the presence of a female and a male, depending on who you are, can make the environment a little bit easier to deal with when you're dealing with police officers. Because a lot of people are nervous when they driving near a police officer show up, because we want to gain that trust in our neighborhoods with police officers, because you need them. I don't care what people say. I don't care how angry they may have gotten or whatever experiences they have. Think about that movie. What's the name of that movie when they did 24 hours and they had no cops?
Oh, yeah.
That movie, I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's scary. It begins with a P.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Huh? Oh, Haiti has some problems too. The country of Haiti.
Oh yeah.
Think about not being able to call 911.
Right. I've always said, not all police officers are bad.
No.
But that's why we have to try to get rid of the ones that's bad.
That's what he said.
Right, because they make the
bad
ones
apples.
And I like how he said that this is another example of what we were saying, that they do something different here. He said in this police department, when we pull you over, we tell you our name. We walk up, we tell you our name. If you get pulled over, whatever, for a traffic ticket or whatever, we tell you who we are. And he said, and we tell you why we pulled you over. They learn in police academy, just walk up, you know why I pulled you over? He said, we don't do that here. And I said, that's when you heard me say out loud, thank you. Why do y'all walk up and ask people, do you know why I pulled you over?
Was I speeding?
Yeah.
Is my sticker
and he said
elapsed?
And he said, and the number one thing he tells his officer, see, that's why I like different depending on where you go. Okay. He said, my main thing isn't to get your license and registration. He said, I want to start a connection first, so that we're cool. Both of us are good. He's the most important thing isn't getting your license and registration.
Do you think too?
So when you walk over and you don't have you're non
confrontational.
Yeah, you just like, how you doing? Hi, my name is Officer such and such. I pulled you over because I saw that you ran a stop sign. Oh, I didn't run a stop. Whatever the person says, or I did, or whatever. He said no problem. But I just want to let you know that's what I saw. He said then I'll ask for your license and registration, because that's what I need to write the ticket.
Because you may be missing the mark on any of those other items as well.
Right.
But do you think too, in all fairness,
so I like when he said that,
if we're not in the inner cities and you're in suburb area,
that's true. You're in the suburb.
You may get a different response when
that's
you're pulled
true.
over and come to the
and
car.
if I'm chasing you. Ooh. I'm not walking over and saying, hi, my name is Officer such and such. You lucky if you don't get pulled out of the car and slapped down on the ground.
Ooh, because you took us on a chase.
It does depend.
Oh,
it does depend. Okay. But you watch Andy Griffin. Yeah, that's why I said it does depend.
They saw when it was Barney and Andy doing something after they were coming fishing,
right?
And this car drove by real fast.
Yeah,
and Barney said, "Did you see that, Ange?" And they got in their car and they ran after. They drove after.
That's what I was trying to say.
They're not used to that.
It's not cut and dry.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying, when you say you nervous, I don't get nervous. I'm happy.
Yeah.
That it's not cut and dry. Yeah. Now we did ask some good. We did ask some good. Oh, you hot?
The oven.
Oh, we did ask some good questions.
Yeah.
They
some of them even came up. Some of the citizens that came
and said,
"We asked some good questions."
Mm-hmm. So tonight, this is our little thing that tells what's going to happen for the whole 8. Was it 8 weeks? 9 weeks.
The rest of the year.
Well, not 9 weeks.
Once a month.
So 9 months. So the rest of the year we go on.
Rest of the year.
So the first class was welcome introduction. We told them who we were, told them we have a social media presence, and we talk about what's going on on our social media.
And we've attended a few of these.
And we told them we own our own marketing company. He went through the organization, the way that their department is structured. And then he also went through their hiring. How do they find the police officers, and what's the whole thing of becoming a police officer?
Interesting.
Now, when we saw that, with all it takes to become a police officer, why do you have knuckleheads?
Because when they said they had started with 20, they used an example of something recently.
They started with 20 applicants, 10, narrowed it down to 10, and narrowed that down to like 1 or something. So with all the stuff that has to go in to become a police officer, you would think we wouldn't get a lot of these stories of knuckleheads. But you asked a good question, and that's why we get knuckleheads. Once you do all of that to get them in, why don't you do all of that to keep them? Why you not making them go through psychological tests and mental tests and checking their background every year and things like that? They don't.
They do that to get our license.
And physical. Yeah. Going through the physical, being able to run a mile and a half, sit-ups and all of that.
You know, if you guys watch Mike and Molly,
he wouldn't pass.
Mike is a heavy guy. He did pass this. He was nervous about it. And he got his partner, Carl, the black guy, had to make him feel at ease because he's gained a lot of weight. And he said, I was trying to work out and do my walks and stuff because I know I'm going to have to do it past the physical.
Okay.
And he did something where he was walking, the car broke down, and his partner was incapacitated. He was out of it.
Okay.
He carried him all the way home to his house. And his friend Carl said, man, that shows that you're in shape. You can do this. You can do this. And he was like, yeah, you're right. So even in his heaviness, he still passed his exam. So I was curious, how often do they do it? And what he even said, the guy that was teaching the class, he said, as you get older.
He was a chief of police.
Let's say when you first come in and you're 24, 25, you may be asked to do 50 sit-ups or 50 push-ups. As you stay on the force and you get older, maybe you're 30 now. You may be asked to do 10 push-ups.
Right.
As you become 45, now you're doing 5 push-ups. It gets less and less, yeah. And that's probably why Mike and Molly, he was able to do his walk because he's older and he's been in there longer.
So that was one of the questions, because a lot of times these guys, they'll put them out in the cars and on the street, and they're not physically able to do that.
Yeah.
The other question that we asked was, I asked it, I'm noticing now that a lot of citizens are requesting their police departments have people who are social workers, or they're trained, they're officers, but they also have maybe a degree in social work or something where they know how to handle cases where the people are meant to have mental illnesses and stuff. And he said, well, we think that as officers, we're social workers, and he had to correct himself. That's the problem. A lot of police officers, y'all think y'all social workers and you're not. He said, but we do understand that there is sometimes where you have to have somebody who is trained in that.
I've been watching on the news, and
I think every police department should have that.
Well, that's the thing. I've been watching on the news that a lot of the updates with that, they're pushing back on a lot of that.
Why?
Because it's funny because you're saying that. They actually had that in an episode, one of those cop shows. And the lady happened to be with them, and he was called to go do something. His girlfriend was with him. She's a cop too, I think. Can I come along? Can I come along? And she was the news person. They said, make sure you stay back because we got to take care of this. I'm an officer. He didn't want them, clouding his, what's going on.
Right.
It was a situation where it was a mental person was going to take their life or do something. They had their knife or something on another person, a weapon. And the girl that was with him, she said, I can talk with him because that's what I learned.
Exactly.
So she talked him out. Oh, it was on Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods. and she actually got him to put the weapon down.
Right.
And the officer that was there, he was like, "Oh, okay."
See,
they was showing. Well, they showed both scenarios. I'm sorry, they showed both scenarios. That one was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to talk him out. He put the weapon down, and the cops came in and did a little handcuff. Right. Another situation with Blue Bloods didn't go so well. So they're showing that, I believe, in the episode to show you pros and cons with that. A lot of times having somebody there, maybe they should be a police officer who had that training to deal with mental.
That's what I'm saying.
Versus some counselor.
No. I said it should be a police officer because he said you get extra points if you have a degree.
Yeah.
And I'm saying they should have a police officer who has a degree in social work.
Yeah.
Or some kind of a degree in psychology or something.
Remember, he said, though, it's hard to recruit.
He said right now it's hard to recruit.
The ladies,
people don't want to be police officers. I know. And I guess the more they get sued and go to jail and stuff, they really don't want to be police officers.
Think about it, their job is a little tougher now. They got to have the cameras on all the time. They got to be careful before they use their weapons or even their tasers. Who wants to be a police officer now?
Nobody.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
So we were looking at, he did say that it's harder to get police officers now. Yeah. He talked about, again, like we said, the process, the test and everything. So today was more of background. He was saying they have to know the area that they're in. We talk about that. I always talk about that, especially in the urban areas. A lot of these guys come from the suburbs and they go into these urban communities and they don't even know the community. And I think you should know the community that you're going to be servicing.
Thank you.
That's my opinion.
Thank you. And even to the point, I know one of my mom's friends at the time, she's older. My mom had a second job in one of the communities they may question you if you're a person of color. And it was evening. They worked evening shift. And she went to get gas and realized, oh, I forgot my wallet at the job. So she's in the neighborhood. So she's going to put the cap back on. I'm going back to my job to get my wallet. Well, an officer is watching her.
Pulled her over.
And he profiled her. And he followed her, pulled her over, asked her why is she here?
Right. And
that was racial profiling for her. She got nervous and she said, "Sir, I work at that company right there. I left my wallet." And she showed her ID and he was like, "Okay, be safe." And he let her drive.
That's one of the things when one of the officers stood up and he said that they drive through our community and he said we look for like suspicious vehicles and stuff. And I was going to say, what do you consider suspicious?
I know. Is it the person that's in it?
What's a suspicious vehicle?
Or is it a car with some high wheels and gold spoilers on?
And then I had to think, a lot of times we as a community, and I'll say something and you guys not going to like it. We do the same thing. We look at things, if we're in a store or something, and we look and say suspicious. And it doesn't even have to be color for me. I look at anybody. I'm like, she don't look like she's shopping.
Yeah. Or they don't look like they would shop in this store.
Exactly.
And what
are you doing in this store? And then if they looking around a lot, what are you looking around a lot for?
That was funny.
And if you're in the neighborhood, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, if you're in my neighborhood, I don't see black people. So I'm going to look and see where you're going.
That was an episode.
What are you doing over here? But we're wrong. Because why does it have to be, if it's a black man in a Mercedes or something, I wouldn't look at him.
Yeah.
Why would I look at somebody?
If he came in with a suit. That was one of the episodes.
Why would I look at another black person?
Andy Griffith.
We click our doors if we're in the gas station. If a regular old guy getting his gas, we don't click our door. But if somebody who we think looks like a hoodlum, we're clicking our doors.
I clicked my door one time. We were sitting waiting on something in the city.
And he got mad.
And said, nobody wants you. I said, and I looked and went, I don't care. Click. I'm not caring that you fussing at me because I clicked it and you mad. I'm still being safe. But that was an episode.
To me, it's not so much about race anymore.
Yeah.
It is economics and class. Yeah, if you click in your door. Yeah.
And here's the thing.
To me, it don't matter if you're black. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. A part of me didn't care that he was insulted.
Right.
Because I still in my mind, I'm being safe.
But what I was saying is, to me, it's more of a thing of economics now. And it shouldn't be, but that's the way it is. If I'm riding in the city or if I'm in the hood, I'm locking my door. I don't feel the pressure to lock it so much when I'm in some nice suburb, driving around with people with $1 million cars.
And they starting to come up here now.
But that's what I'm saying. And then also you get, they come at you. He said our area, they target.
Yeah.
See, they starting to target areas where people feel like they safe.
Yeah.
So and
there has been situations not far from us where the person, they followed this one lady, a middle-aged lady who came from a bank.
Oh, and they robbed,
and they followed her to her home and robbed her at her home.
Yeah, they doing that in the suburbs. Oh. So now it's to a point. That's why I said crime and stuff is at a point now. It doesn't matter race. It doesn't matter somebody's in a suit. Yeah. It doesn't matter what they are. Always be watching. Always be on alert. Always lock your doors or whatever.
Try to be observant with your environment.
So we went through that. Now the rest of the year, some of the classes, laws of arrest, search and seizure, criminal law, investigations, use of force.
That's been a big issue with police officers across the
traffic stops, law and demonstration, DUI enforcement.
Traffic stops can go ugly too.
Standardized field sobriety tests, drones. They starting to use drones. Now on this class, I'm going to ask them about AI, replacing them soon one day.
Like a RoboCop?
What do they think about that? Crash investigation, major crash assistance, evidence technician duties, major crime assistance. Mama's probably going to come back for this class. K9.
Yeah. With the dog.
Drug enforcement. Guns, when they use their guns. Special investigation group. Gangs. SWAT. Crisis negotiations. Equipment demonstration. How they work with the fire department. Fire safety. CPR. First aid training. Dispatch. And then they're going into the judicial system. How they work with the judges and the prosecutors. That we're going to have a mock trial. Officer wellness, graduation, and awarded certificates and party.
You probably won't.
That's our class.
Graduation, unfortunately, I don't know if you miss a class.
No, he said everybody does. You just won't get that award for not missing any classes. Special awards for people who didn't miss any class.
Yeah,
which they should. If you go to every class, you should get something.
Now I can tell you now, just looking at that itinerary. One thing that we didn't do in the other classes was a mock trial.
True. So, no, wait a minute.
I don't remember a mock trial.
Maybe we did. You're right. Now, one thing we did do at the other ones, and I heard a lady ask the question at the end, is drive along.
Yeah.
And
you did that.
I did that. We're gonna see. I think she said we could do that if we asked. And then the other one was shooting range. Remember we went to the guns. Yeah,
I didn't. But I've gone on one, but not with the police officer.
Oh, and another thing they don't have is the prison.
Oh.
Not prison, but jail. We went to jail to see what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see.
I suggest and they said that if they had started this class and then it wasn't enough participation. So they laid low for a little bit. So now this is their second time around, and they're glad of the number of us that signed up.
More of us signed up.
I suggest you, wherever you live,
you need to go to a citizens.
You need to look and see if you have one. If you don't have one,
ask them.
Send a letter or email or whatever, and put it out there, because we were going to do it with our sorority.
Yeah.
As far as being involved in the community.
Yep.
And they were like, we're full right now, but we'll keep you ladies in mind when we have our next class.
Now, when we went at the end of the thing, you shot out there, but I stayed to talk to some people. Our mayor was there. I didn't know she was the mayor. Okay. She said, hi, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm the mayor.
She came to you?
Yeah. She was standing there.
Okay.
She said, hi, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is the mayor. The mayor. She said her name. I said, I didn't know you. You're our mayor.
Okay.
And I said, so you're their boss? And she was like, yeah. She said, I didn't want to make them feel nervous, so I just kind of sat in the thing. And then the guy who said he was the police commissioner, he walked up. And I said, now you guys work together, right? He goes, she's my boss. She appoints us. She appoints the police commissioner.
See the
and the police commissioners are the ones that decide whether you can become a police officer or not.
That's why we keep saying we got a election coming up.
When you elect these people,
local is so
people don't understand that.
important.
They think all they doing is going to vote for Trump or Biden.
Thank you.
I said, you're running again, right? She said, I'm running. You got the mayor affects the police department, affects you.
It trickles down.
Judges, all of it. They all work together.
Chicago now is waiting on the results for their state's attorney.
Yes.
That's important. That's local.
Yes.
Who is in charge when somebody in your neighborhood gets arrested and has to stand before the judge and deal with the police officers?
Yep. And two of the people in class were trustees.
Yes. Of your townships or however your cities are laid out. Yeah.
Board. So all of this
Killer
stuff,
Mike was trying to stress
aldermen, all of that plays. They all play.
Please vote.
Yeah.
Exercise your right to vote. Don't just think of the top level.
Yep.
Think of your local community.
All right. So that was it. Anything else you can think of?
No.
All right. Now, I saw this tape.